So Hartmut, thanks for being here today. I want to ask you, what is dark matter and what are axions?
Dark matter is really an invention so far, or an idea of human scientists. We don't know what dark matter is. We just have a lot of evidence from astronomical observation that something is going on that makes it look like there must be much more matter than the matter that we already know of. Axions are a specific form of dark matter which first came about to solve a completely different problem in physics, but now it turns out if axions do exist, then they could also explain the dark matter, or they could be the dark matter. And they are very light particles. We don't even think of them as particles. They are so light and there are so many of them if they exist that they kind of merge into a sea and we just treat them as a wave or as a field.
So you propose to measure these axions using something called an interferometer. What's an interferometer?
An interferometer is a device that makes use of the fact that light can be treated as a wave. And an interferometer splits a light wave into two different paths. So we send light along two different space directions and then send it back with mirrors and compare how long is the light travel time in one direction of space and how long is it in the other direction of space. And then we do interference of the beam, which is where the name comes from. But in effect, we measure very tiny length changes in space. And we can use that for different questions in physics.
So how can an interferometer be used to detect axions?
Axions can act on light and they shift the polarization of the light. So we can think of that light has a certain direction in space, how it oscillates while it travels along. And axions, if they exist, they would tilt this direction of oscillation of the light wave just a little bit. And if we arrange the interferometer in the right way, then we can measure this very slight tilt. But we also found out there is another type of very light dark matter, slightly different than the axion, which are called scalar fields. So it's just another proposal of the scientist's mind of what dark matter could be. And these couple to our interferometers in a different way. So if scalar fields exist, they would make all objects get larger and smaller in the rhythm of this scalar field wave, in the rhythm of this dark matter wave. And so if a mirror gets bigger or smaller, then this we can measure in our interferometer because it changes the light travel time.
So how does an interferometer use quantum technology and why is quantum technology so useful in uncovering new physics?
An interferometer is already a quantum device because it uses light waves, and then when we measure the light waves, we measure individual packets of light. That was one of the first discoveries of quantum mechanics, that when you detect light, you get individual packets. So it's a quantum technology already. But we take this quantumness, if you will, further by using particular states of light which are called squeezed light. And that is a bit more complex to explain, but it's a particular light form that doesn't exist in nature. Why are quantum technologies and particularly important for our searches? It's mostly because we all look for something very small, for very small effects. And if we look at the smallest levels, like atoms and smaller in physics, we are always dealing with quantum physics because the quantum laws govern the behavior of the very smallest. So if we build experiments that look for the very smallest, we are dealing with quantum technology already. And so if we can manipulate this quantumness, we can be more sensitive to these very smallest effects.
What role does creativity play in scientific research?
Creativity is very important for scientific research because we cannot just plan scientific research and its results in the same way as we maybe can plan to manufacture a new gadget or device. Science has to take risks, because in science we try to answer questions. One of the factors that is important for creativity, also according to research about creativity, is that people are really interested in what they are doing. So I'm telling our students that maybe my best advice, if they needed any advice, would be to do what they are really interested in, because that is what drives progress and also creativity.